Hi to you, it's been a while. I took a long break, it felt so good. Now I'm back in the studio, ready to paint again. As you can see, the wall behind me is empty. I took everything down from the November 30-day challenge. I put everything where it belongs, signed, dated everything, and put them in portfolios, neatly archived. It feels good to start a new project. I'm really excited for what's to come. In the next few weeks or a few months maybe, I want to focus on one specific painting series, and I want to post one vlog every Saturday. I'm beginning this project with a painting that I started a while ago, maybe last year I think, in my other studio. I have the footage. Let me show you the painting first. You've seen it probably a couple times. I've mentioned it a couple times. I want to finish this painting this week if it's possible. This is where we're at with this painting. I feel like it's almost there. There's a few changes I want to make. I'm not sure exactly where I want to go. As I've mentioned, this is going to be a series. I will talk a bit more about the series at the very end of this vlog. I'll put a timestamp if you're curious and you want to know right away. For now, we'll go back in the past to see how I got to this point in the piece. I'll show you all the steps that I took to get there, why I took those steps, and what was my concept and all that. And then we'll get back here, and I want to finish this painting. My goal for this week is to have this painting finished. The first thing I did for this painting was to take a reference photo. I had a clear concept of what I wanted, two hands holding a heart as you saw before. As you'll see in the different steps to come, I really built that painting piece by piece. The first thing I did was focus on the hands, and I traced the hands as a shortcut because I had done a test piece before that where the heart is kind of like done in a random way using paint, and it completely bled through the hands. So I used tracing as a shortcut to see if I could actually get the heart the way that I wanted it, considering that it was kind of like messy a little bit. In a way, you'll see later what I'm talking about. Some people don't like the idea of tracing. They feel like it's a crutch and it's not good for your progress as an artist. I feel like there's a place for everything. It depends how you're using it and what you want to do with it. I personally think there's no rules, and you can do whatever you want to do as long as you're happy while you're doing it and that you get where you want to go. Here I'm using a piece of newsprint to outline a heart and cut it out. Now I'm placing all my pieces together on a cardboard that is the exact size of my final canvas to kind of build my painting in the proportions and the placement of every element before I go onto canvas to have the final product. I'm using wood panel for this painting. Knowing that I wanted to use graphite or charcoal, I felt like it would be an easier process to draw onto a hard surface as opposed to canvas. I laid down a few coats of gesso prior to this, and now I'm just toning a background with just a little bit of gray and trying to get some kind of texture and vignetting around my painting. Here I'm going over the contour of the hands with a pastel pencil, and I'm preparing for transferring so that I can transfer everything on the canvas. This is where I place all the elements together neatly as possible. As you're seeing right now, I'm transferring the fingers, the tips of the fingers, on a piece of cardboard on the heart. You'll see why in a minute. And now I'm transferring the rest of the hands on the canvas. And I'm using the cutout of the heart as a stencil for the next part of the technique that was a little bit more random that I was mentioning before. And I cut out each tips of the fingers to mask where the fingers are already drawn onto the canvas and make sure that no paint goes over it. It's kind of like a protection. You'll see in the next step that the paint is very thick and it comes out in spurs. So it's really hard to control. That's why I'm doing this right now. And that's why I traced the hands before. So here's the star of the show. I'm using a pouch of paint made by Syndia, and it's called Abstract Innovative Acrylic. It comes with a bunch of different spouts. This one that I'm using creates some kind of chain effect. I think the spout had 3 tiny openings. As I've mentioned before, it's very random and I had a lot of fun using it. It gives a bold 3D effect. I had a little bit of overlapping and bleeding of the paint on the fingers, but I was able to recover it and kind of fix it. And overall, I was really happy with the result. That's exactly what I had in mind. The key to this is to have thick paint that doesn't run, which was my problem initially. Now we're all caught up, back to the present and see where we go from here. As I mentioned, it was a conceptual piece. It was kind of like a test piece for the series to come. That's why I kind of like crafted bits and pieces together with the tracing and the cutting out and the masking and all that stuff, because I was testing so many things. I was testing the spout with the paints and the random chains that it gave. I was testing visually how the grays and white would work with the yellow, and at that point last year I had not done all that testing that I did with yellow and gray during the November challenge. The November challenge was very helpful in that. So now I feel like with this piece I know a little bit more what would work, what I don't like as much, what direction I want to go into. I don't know everything. Obviously, I'm still searching and exploring and getting surprised, because for me, that's the point of the whole process, is to discover things along the way. I like being surprised. Right now, I feel like this painting is not completely finished. It's almost there. It's like probably 80% there, but I want to try a few things. At this point, I'm going to take a photo of this painting. Gonna pop the photo in Photoshop, and in Photoshop I'm going to try very bold things to see where I could bring it. That's a tool I use a lot. I think I'm going to try to make the hand very white and the background a lot darker in Photoshop, see how that affects the general mood of the painting. I'm going to try to the opposite, to have the hands more moody and gray and have the background a lot whiter, and see how that feels. I think the heart part is the part that I like the most. I like the texture, the color. I'm not going to touch that. It's mainly the background and the hands. I'm debating whether I should make the hands very realistic with, well, very realistic. I mean, like shading them in with like wrinkles and texture with charcoal. Would that be more interesting, or leave it like that as is with more of a contour line? I'm just not sure. These are the things that I'm going to try in Photoshop before I go and finish this painting. I did a Photoshop session, so I want to show you where I'm at in the process and kind of like what I'm thinking about as I'm making decisions. So first of all, I didn't spend that long in Photoshop to do this. I kind of did it in a very messy way, and that's the point. It's kind of like a sketch, but on the computer as a shortcut to get to where I want to go. And so those images are kind of messy. I just want more information on value, what I want lighter and darker, how much contrast I'm looking for, that kind of thing. This is the original painting. One option would be to have a more realistic hand, like shading the hand a lot, and have more white around the heart and keep the edges darker. Here I am going with a lighter hand but still shaded with a much more moody background. And this is a lot closer to what I have as the original, except that obviously this is the photo of my hand. So I would try to render those hands a little bit more realistically, but keeping them fairly light and not touching the background. If I go back to the original painting, this is clearly just a contour line. So an option could be just to keep more shading in the hands, but keep everything else the same. There isn't one right way to do this, but for some reason I'm kind of attracted to this very moody background, but do it a bit more subtly and fade it more to white towards the middle, and add some details to the hands, but not make them as realistic as these are, because I feel like overall this image has a very flat quality because of this heart, and I don't necessarily love the contrast of a very realistic hand, so I would keep it kind of like in between this contour line and just a little bit more shading. So that's what I'm thinking right now. As I'm doing it, I might go in a different direction, but for now I'm going to focus on those two elements, the vignette and some texture in the hand.
Je me sors d'ici avant d'étouffer. J'ouvre la fenêtre au-dessus de mon lit. Je me pitche dehors, la tête première. Je me berce au silence des étoiles. Je m'endors et je rêve. Le soleil plonge dans l'horizon. Sa petite sœur la lune me regarde du coin de l'œil. Au clair d'une pleine lune, assis dans le gazon, côté sur un arbre, je regarde la parade. Je me berce au silence des étoiles. Je m'endors et je rêve. Du bonhomme, 7 heures, porte à porte, il ferme tes lumières. Il va te faire ramer dans sa chaloupe maudite. C'est pour ça que t'es mieux de faire vite. Je me berce au silence des étoiles. Je m'endors et je rêve. 21. Il faisait soleil. C'est-tu l'exode? C'est-tu nécessaire? Novembre s'en vient, d'un pas lourd, je me souviens. Nicotine, fumée verte, un nuage découvert. Jeu d'échecs jaune et noir, polé comme un miroir. C'est l'amour, la folie, c'est suite, puis pépé.
All done. I'm really happy that I completed this painting for so many reasons. First, I had started it a year ago, so I have that sense of accomplishment, but also it's the first painting in a series that I'm starting, so I'm excited about that. Hopefully seeing me go through my process gave you good ideas. I never approach a painting the same way. I use different techniques for different concepts and different ideas, whatever will get me there the best way possible. I find that that's how I operate, that's what I want to do, and I'm really happy with the result of this. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit more about that series. It's called Sunshine State of Mind. On the technical side of it, I want to use yellow, gray, and white. And I want to use graphite, charcoal, and acrylic paint for this series, kind of mix them together. And it's gonna be kind of like conceptual pieces. And the emotion or the thing that I'm trying to express through these paintings is having that sunshine state of mind, trying to see the good in maybe bad or difficult situations. It's not always possible to see the good in everything all the time, but sometimes when I live something very stressful or sad or that I'm discouraged for whatever reason, I always try to find a solution, make it better, make a new plan, or sometimes it's just changing my vision about the situation. Sometimes there's nothing you can really do about something difficult. You just have to wait it out because time usually does its thing and makes it better. So, sunshine state of mind for me is a reminder to keep hope and to try to keep that little piece of joy in your heart in your daily life, trying to make little steps that will make things better or make you a little bit happier. I hope you like that. I hope you like that idea because you're gonna see a lot of these paintings in the next few weeks. And some paintings like this one is a little bit more moody, atmospheric. I don't know if there's a lot of joy coming through. I feel it's tender in a way, for me at least. And some pieces will be a lot more whimsical and light in as far as the concept goes, because I have ideas already, and some other ones are gonna be a little bit deeper in a way, and maybe some other ones will be purely abstract. Haven't really thought about that, but that could be a good route as well. So I don't know if you like Instagram. I really love Instagram, so I will be sharing these paintings on my Instagram, but also I'll be using the hashtag SSOM for Sunshine State of Mind. Feel free to use it in your own work. If ever you take a nice photograph with a big pop of yellow that makes you feel joy in your everyday life, use the hashtag and we could all share into the hope and keeping things positive and joyful. Let me know what you think of this painting. I'll meet you in the comments. As always, I'm sending you good inspiration and I'll see you very, very soon.